Welcome to the van. In this video, we're going to cover 12 tips from a chef. Yep, I'm a chef, Chef Corso from Outdoor Eats, on ways to elevate your meals in the van, out of the van, and on your road trips or on your van lives. So what we're going to cover today is actually quite a few things. So we're going to cover meal planning, recipe ideas for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, all the things, ways to stay organized and ways that I've figured out how to do that, dishes. Yep, they are a part of life. How to potentially mitigate some smells if you are cooking in the van, and some life tips and general tips as I've been vagabonding over the last 6 weeks in the van. And again, thanks to Van Do It for sponsoring the Vagabond Tour over the last 6 weeks. It has been really, really fun to travel around the country and just have a lot of freedom to be able to explore and sleep in some fun and random but safe places and cook up some great meals in the van, out of the van, at some great parks and all kinds of stuff. So the other thing that we are going to do through this video is we're going to cook something. This is the Outdoor Eats channel. And if you're new to Outdoor Eats, we provide fast, easy, and tasty recipes for elevated meals outdoors, pocket-sized cookbooks, and just want you to eat well when you are going outside on your adventures, either hiking or backpacking, or when you're van lifing or RVing. We're gonna cook up a recipe in these 3 ingredients. Yeah, that's broccoli, a bunch of ramen, and a steak is gonna turn into this. Yeah, that looks like a pretty darn good trail meal, pretty darn good road trip meal. That is broccoli beef. Classic option. I went with noodles here tonight. You could easily go rice, but we are gonna cook this up all through the video. Also, some of these tips aren't specifically about food, ingredients, or cooking. They are tips to really, really help your life in the van, and some of the early ones are just ways to stay organized and stay clean, so when it is time to cook, that you're all ready for it and you're not tripping over yourself. And last tip, stay tuned for it, is this. This is a weasel bag. Yep, what's a weasel bag? Well, it could be the best thing that ever happened to you on your road trips. So stay tuned till the end when I tell you what's in this pouch. All right, let's get rolling on these tips. So quickly, I am in the Land Between Lakes National Recreation Area, and this is right on the border between Tennessee and Kentucky. I've driven through here multiple times and I've always wanted to stop, and I'm really, really happy that I've had the opportunity to stop and film this video here because it is quite beautiful. As you can see, really nice lakefront, a lot of lakefront options, tons and tons of campsites, like in the hundreds, both for the primitive style camping, tent camping, and also for RV and some hookups. So I am in the Black Oak Campground section of the Piney Campground. So yeah, Black Oak section, Piney Campground, and beautiful day, balmy morning this morning. And as I was looking at the map here and talking to the visitors folks, is that this place is like 50 miles long, 50 to 60 miles long. So there is a lot to explore here and a really accessible option as you are road tripping right in the middle-ish of the country. So National Recreational Area, Land Between Lakes, and they aren't wrong. There is the land between both of the lakes. So pretty cool stuff. All right, tip number 1, start a trash and start it now. I know this sounds like kind of a funny one to start with, but I've lived in a van and done some road tripping where I just put the wrappers wherever, and it just very, very, very quickly came to bite me. So start a trash, start it now. You know, find a trash bag or use a old grocery bag too. Those work really, really well. Really, really easy, but start a trash, start it now. It'll help your life. Number 2, organization. If you are not an organized person, then van life is gonna be a little bit tough for you. So whatever setup you have and whatever things that you need to organize it. And put it away in the same place. It'll really, really help when you're looking for things to be like, oh, where did I put my knife? Where did I put my lighter? Where did I put my stove? Oh, I put it in the top drawer or the second drawer every single time. I will say that as I started van lifing and van touring with this van, is that I reorganized 2 or 3 times in the first week or so. So I thought it was a good spot in the first place, not quite so, and you know, put it somewhere else. But also thinking about your usable space is the area that you use the most. That's where your items should be that you use the most, just so that they are easy access, and maybe put the other stuff back in the corner or stuff that's a little bit harder to get to. So stay organized and put it away, and put it away now. Like, don't let it rattle around or hang around, just put it away now. Number 3, buy some of this stuff. So you may have some of this stuff in your house right now, and this is a sticky drawer liner. The thing about a lot of the surfaces in a van is they are just a little bit slick. There's not a whole lot of tack to them. So I like having these in the drawers and also in the kind of the cabinets area, just so things aren't completely sliding around. And as you guys know, when you're driving, is things have a tendency to slosh and move around as you're going over the speed hump and the divots, and it just gets really, really annoying, and things start to clank and then also fall out. It's not that great. So this is a helpful thing. It's also interesting if you are, you're looking for a level ground for most places that you're stopping, but sometimes you just have a little bit of a tilt. And the surfaces in a van are slick, so there's not a whole lot of tack to them. So even if you are just on this little bit of a tilt, your water bottle or your stove or your ranch dressing bottle or whatever will just have a tendency to slide down. So having a little bit of a tacky surface is really, really helpful, and quick, easy buy at Target or Walmart or whatever. Number 4, continuing on our setting up for our area for success when it does come time to cook, it is store it and secure it. Every time you start to drive, make sure your drawers are secure, make sure your gear is secure, and make sure it is stored. Because if you don't, this could and probably will happen. Golly. Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really annoying. One, it could be loud, it could be annoying, or it could be kind of dangerous too for your stuff crashing into each other and flapping around all the van. It's happened multiple times, and every time I try to remember to secure things, and sometimes you just forget stuff, but it's really, really important that you store your stuff, you secure your stuff every time you start driving, because man, the stuff just tendency to fly everywhere and roll everywhere or slide everywhere. So make sure you do all that, and you'll be ready to be cooking when it does come time to cook. And for overall food safety, I am chopping my veggies before I slice my steak. And I'm gonna wash or sanitize my hands and my knife before we start cooking. And earlier, I made up this toasted sesame soy sauce here. And I made this on a tailgate of my buddy's rig, and I had a little bit of leftover, so I thought it'd be great to be able to cook up for our broccoli beef here today. But just a few pantry ingredients coming together, mixed up. You can make a small batch, you can make a big batch. Really, really good. And I love making my own because a lot of the teriyaki sauces out there have a lot of sugar in them. And I kind of like controlling how much sugar is in my food and also how much salt is in my food. So this is a really, really great option and a really great recipe to have to make up with some pantry ingredients. Number 5, and the next few are a little bit more in the general van life tips, general life tips. Don't worry, we will be getting to food. And so number 5 is buy an eye mask and some earplugs. So sleep is really, really important, and also being in a dark area when you're sleeping is also really important for nice deep sleep. So if you are sleeping in a Walmart parking lot or in a campground parking lot and there's lights blaring, it's really annoying and also not very helpful for getting a good night's sleep. So get your eye mask, get some earplugs. There also could be some yahoos that come around at 2 a.m. that you just don't want to hear. And guys, it really doesn't matter what you look like when you sleep. You're sleeping, it's fine, buy an eye mask. Number 6, if you are doing this a lot, I highly, highly suggest that you join Planet Fitness or a YMCA. Planet Fitness has a national membership that is very, very economical. So if you do want to get a workout in or a walk, that's available, but also nice clean showers. So you can clean yourself up as you're rolling along, or YMCAs as well have national memberships. And the fun part about the YMCAs too is you can, do a pickup basketball or a pickleball if that's good for you. And a lot of them have hot tubs and some saunas, which can be really, really nice. And I have utilized those really, really, really frequently because, man, rolling along, your back's kind of sore, just need to sit in a hot tub. Just jump in the YMCA in Sandpoint, Idaho, or in Topeka, Kansas, and get a nice little rest there. So the YMCA is a little bit more expensive, but again, both have national memberships, so you can just roll right on in. And also, if you are van lifing and doing the whole gym thing, is check out these guys. They make some really, really great pack towels, so they can throw that right in your backpack, and they also dry very, very quickly, which is really, really nice. Number 7, focus on your task. So if you're working a little bit, if you are cooking a little bit, if you are cleaning a little bit, you're just gonna get in the way of your own self. You're gonna be tripping over yourself. So what I've found is that, okay, it's time to work, get out all my things, get out my notepad, get my computer, do some editing, do that kind of thing, and focus on that, and then put it away. And then, oh great, it is time to cook. Awesome. Well, I'll get out my ingredients and get out my camp stove and get out the cutting board and do that. And then I'm gonna clean, dry the dishes, and put those away. And then, when it's time to wind down for the evening, then get out your toiletry bag, then get out your toothbrush and wind down. So I tried to kind of do this and multitask in the space, and it just didn't quite work all that well, where I had my toothbrush next to my knife and my cutting board, and I was just tripping over myself. It's just really not that helpful. So I gave myself my own little tip, which is focus on your task, do that, finish it, and then move on to the next one. Want to get this pan nice and hot so I can get a nice sear on my steak. I have really enjoyed cooking in the van, and even when I made some Indian food or some chili, that my stuff didn't really smell all that bad. And again, if I was doing a big meal, I would just take it outside and set it up under my awning or at a picnic table. That is looking really good. I don't want to overcook the steak, so just cook it through to your desired doneness. Got some great beef juice in there with our soy sesame sauce. Now let's work on our noodles. Nice little quick coffee break. All right, to number 8, and that is meal planning. Yes, the good stuff. So there are 2 main questions, and 2 very important questions that you need to ask yourself and your crew when you are starting to meal plan, both for backpacking and camping, but also for van lifing. And those 2 questions are how long you going for and how many people you cooking for. So if I'm cooking for me for 2 nights, I need only a few things. If I'm cooking for 4 people or 6 people over a week, then that is a whole different situation. So it really is dependent on your trip length and how many people you are cooking for. So that's a really, really good place to start. Then it's about overall quantity. And the thing that I like to do here, I've got a whole bunch of notes here on meal planning, is to really start in the pantry. For me, for meal planning, I am really guided by my belly. There are so many great flavors, there's so many great recipes that you can cook up, and sometimes I get a little bit overwhelmed with that, but I'm really guided by what I am hungry for. So do I want to have Mexican flavors for a couple days? Do I want to have Indian? Do I want to have Italian? Really letting my belly guide that, because I want something that tastes good and want something that I'm gonna get excited for. So the next step is I always start in the pantry, like literally. I literally start in my pantry at home or my pantry in the van, because the pantry is where the staples are. The rices, the noodles, the pastas, the breads, the tortillas, and that can really guide the next step, which is protein and veggies. So choose your flavor for your protein, whether that is steak or chicken. I will suggest that using the pre-cooked sausages is really, really awesome. You don't have to worry about cross-contamination. They're really, really tasty. You just need to heat them up. And eggs are a great option to take as well. I mean, for breakfast, but also just bulking up some of your meals. As you can see here in my cooler, this is what I've got right now. And I do have quite a few fresh veggies. I have a couple leftovers. I have some yogurt and some soda water and pickles on the bottom. And this is what I've got right now. So I love packing fresh veggies, and so many of them these days are begging for you to put them in your cooler. They're already chopped up for you. They're in a little Ziploc or a little plastic bag, and perfect for making a quick saute or stir fry. Once you have figured out your pantry, your protein, and your veggies, it's really about how to flavor it all up. So here is my spice cabinet right now in the van. This is not all of the spices that I packed, but the ones that I'm using the most. So obviously we have salt and black pepper, but also garlic powder, Italian seasoning, some Old Bay seasoning, some great chili powders. And if you love Indian food, Indian chili powders can be really, really great as well. So choose your own adventure as far as spices, but I tend to pack 2 or 3 for each trip and can really change it up based on how I am feeling. And if you are interested in more information about spices, check out this video, because I did a whole video on kind of 4 different tiers of spices, starting with basic, starting to a little bit more flavor, getting a little bit more fancy and crazy, all the way to some really, really cool special stuff. So check that out as far as spices, but spices and paste from Thai paste to miso paste to some other chili sauces are a fantastic way to flavor up your dishes with minimal volume and minimal weight. Which then goes to quantity. And you know your crew better than I do, and you know if they're super hungry bears, if they're snacky squirrels, and you know what to generally pack for them. And the one thing I will say for meal planning for a RV trip or a road trip or a van life trip is we always think we're going to be so hungry. And the thing about it is, most of these adventures, you're just hanging out by the campfire, hanging out by the lake or on the boat, and drinking a beer and catching up with your buddies. So you maybe don't need to pack as much as you think. But what I tend to do for a multi-day trip is write out a meal plan, put some ideas down, and then take away one main meal. Because most likely you are going to have a few leftovers. You're going to pack some chips and some snacks and some cheese and crackers anyway, and you have a cooler, so you can throw those leftovers in the cooler and not feel that bad. So that's for me, and I get really excited when it comes to meal planning. It's like, okay, great, we can make pasta, we can make steak, we can make this, we can make tacos. Oh, yeah, so good. Okay, great. But then I'm like, okay, whoa, hey, let's take one little step back, plan what you think is good, and then take one recipe away. And if it turns out that you need some more food, you can stop at the general store or stop at the grocery store later on in your journey, but most likely you're going to be okay. But you plan for your crew on how they're going to eat. Number 8 kind of just bridges right into number 9, which is recipe ideas. So OutdoorEats.com has over 300 trail tested recipes, so we have a lot of options for you. If you have a specific dietary restriction, someone in your crew has a specific dietary challenge, we've got you covered there. But we've got options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, trail snacks, and dessert. And it could be that you're already tired of s'mores. So here are 2 or 3 dessert options that can give you something a little bit different. I'm not ragging on s'mores. S'mores are delicious, but I need about 2 every season, and then I am good. So as far as recipe ideas for breakfast, here are a couple that I really like that are not just your standard oatmeal or pancakes. Here are a couple no-cook lunches or quick lunch options that you can have along. And also, if you're looking for options to cook up when it's hot out, check out this video too, because I did a whole video in the mountains about how to cook up some great lunches when it's hot out, or meals when it's hot out, because sometimes you just don't want soup when it's 90 degrees and balmy. Here are a couple of my favorite dinners right now, but there are so many tasty options at the website right now. And don't forget about snacks. We have a lot of great snack options. And if you want to keep it simple, just do the cheese and crackers and salami. That will get you through a lot of snack attacks or a lot of quick lunches. I love doing that. But also thinking about it like a trailgate. I think we should trailgate like we tailgate. So if you love tailgating with hot dogs and beer, well, you could also make a chorizo queso. You could make a burst of tomato goat cheese dip or a spinach dip. And also you could share it with your friends over here at the campsite. So I love treating snack time or campy hour as a great time to still cook some really good meals and have fun with it. And just you want a snack anyway, so why not have a trailgate? Why not have a campy hour? Super fun. Also, on the topic of snacks, my sister actually does this a lot with her family, is just calling it snack dinner, right? Sometimes you had a big lunch and you're not super hungry for dinner, pull out the veggie tray, pull out the cheese, pull out the crackers, and just have a snack dinner. Maybe, all the great dips that are out there at all the grocery stores, from hummus to ranch dip to spinach dip to all this kind of stuff, is use that to your advantage and just have a snack dinner. And everyone can have a little bit of what they like, and you don't have to be, super loaded by the end of the evening. And lastly, for some recipe ideas, here are some of the meals that I made over my 6 weeks. So as you can see, not a lot of these are very fancy. Like one of them is just a sandwich lettuce wrap. Didn't really feel like bread that day. Or a lot of one skillet options, really helpful for cleaning too, to get all those ingredients right in one pot or right in one skillet. But I ate really well with just a few pantry ingredients, and often had some leftovers so I could eat some the next day or a couple days down the road. It's been really fun to cook in the van, cook out of the van, and cook up some really tasty stuff to fuel the adventure. Number 10, smells. Yes, smells are a thing. Smells smell like things. So the thing about cooking in a van is there's no way to fully eliminate 100% of the smells. It's just not going to happen. It's a confined space. You're sauteing up some things, and you just have to accept that some of your stuff is going to smell like what you're cooking. So if you don't want smells on anything, then you're going to need to take this outside, take it to the picnic table or to your camp table. But if you are choosing to cook inside, or you have to cook inside because of weather, there's a couple tips that I can give you. So again, based on your build, there's sometimes a window right over here. So easily prop that up. You can also have a little fan that pushes the smells out. But for this specific unit and this specific build, there is a fan right up here. So I am going to turn it on, and it has a in and out function. So I'm gonna have it suck our smells right up to help mitigate some of our teriyaki soy steak smell from my sleeping bag and my pants. But again, there is no way to eliminate all the smells when you are cooking in an enclosed space. Now we're just gonna boil our noodles, and I like to add my broccoli right into this as well, because both of them are gonna cook really quickly. Kind of steam on the top. And bonus tip for you guys, These pots have a tendency to get pretty hot on these camp stoves. They're titanium, there's not a lot of buffering there, so just grab a sock, clean sock preferably, for a pot holder. Oh man, it's starting to smell real good. Really getting excited for this meal. Get back in there. Noodles and broccoli. These noodles and broccoli do not take very long, which I love. So let's put this whole broccoli beef experience together. I like to get the sauce on there, mix it all up. Oh yeah. Give me that. Nice. Wow. Crown of broccoli, one bundle of noodles, your favorite steak, couple pantry ingredients, and we have got an amazing dinner here, an amazing bowl. And we aren't done here yet, folks, because I love garnish and I love sauce and I love things. So a little bit of green onion, a little bit of sesame seeds. Obviously see that I've already added some chili paste, and wow, we have got a great looking broccoli beef dinner in just a few minutes in a van. Wow, look at this thing. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. Great beefy flavor. That sesame soy sauce just running through the whole thing. Little chili paste, little toasted sesame seeds on top. What more could you want? But what am I doing? Why am I eating it in a van? Let's go outside. Yeah. This is better. This is what I want. I love being in a van, but when I'm in a nice, pretty spot, I kind of want to see the nice, pretty spot. I'm gonna enjoy this for a few minutes, soak it all in, eat my noodles, eat my beef, eat my spicy sesame situation, and then we're gonna get to dishes. I promised you dishes. Wow, that was really good, and I'm really glad I went outside to enjoy it. And so I'm 6'2", by the way, so I'm hunching down. The funny thing about filming in a van with no help is you have to get a little bit creative with the angles here to make sure you can get the shot. So number 11, dishes. Yeah, so dishes aren't fun, folks. And what I've learned, both working in a ton of kitchens and cooking in a ton of home kitchens as well, is that dishes are part of life. If we just accept them and stop fighting it, we're gonna be a lot better off. There are a couple tips I can give you here though. So I actually don't have that many dishes for my meal here today. A couple utensils, pot and a pan, and a cutting board. Not that bad, not gonna take that long. If you do have a cast iron skillet, or you do have something that's a little bit grittier or burned on or something, check out this method, check out the reboil method, because it can really help you get a jump start on dishes for both inside and outside cooking. So you don't have to scrub and scrub and scrub. So, but what I like to do is, you know, do the dishes in the small basin or the small sink here. And I'm a big fan of Dr. Bronner's because it is concentrated. So all I need is a couple drops, 10-to-1 concentration, dilute it, they say. And I'm just going to scrub up my dishes here real quick. And I did put out a dish towel. That's my dedicated dish towel, so it can get a little bit grimy and just be right here when it is come time to do dishes. And again, going back to whatever number that I said earlier about focusing on your task. So I was focusing on prepping, I was focusing on cooking, I was focusing on eating. Now I'm focusing on dishes. I'm gonna get that all done and all clear because I need to get driving to Kansas City and I don't want these dishes clanking around everywhere. So there's not one magic bullet that I can give you for dishes. Just accept them. It will be okay. You will be okay. Reboil method will help your life. I'm gonna do some dishes. Thought I forgot about number 12. Nope. So this is my weasel bag, and why it's called a weasel bag, it is full of weasel ingredients. So what is a weasel ingredient? Well, it's an ingredient that you don't quite buy, but also you don't quite steal it. They are available on the road. They are available around. So we have mayo packets, ketchup packets, soy sauce packets, sriracha comes in a packet, all the hot sauces from the taqueria. All of those land in here. There's also jam and honey and a whole bunch of really, really awesome stuff in here. And so you can procure these along the road, or I know a lot of you, or actually pretty much every one of you, has a drawer in your house right now with a whole bunch of Asian condiment packets and condiment packets that you don't know what to do with. Well, get yourself a weasel bag, an old toiletry bag, something that has a zipper, secure, and put all of those in there. If you are cooking for one or if you're cooking for two, it is a great way to use those up and a way so you don't have to buy a big bottle of soy sauce or oil or whatever. It's all right here in your weasel bag. So be a weasel, but don't be a jerk. So as you're traveling around, don't take all of the orange marmalade from Denny's. Don't take all the mayo packets from the small little coffee shop in Kashmere, Washington. Take a couple, leave some for the next person. So be a respectful weasel, but don't be a jerk. Weasel bag. Well, everybody, thanks for coming along for 12 tips from a chef on how to cook in your van, cook great meals in your van, and also some general van life tips that I have figured out along the way. But if you have specific questions about your trip, you have specific questions about a meal plan, you have a dietary restriction, or you are volunteering to cook for a group of people with a dietary restriction, please hit me up. I'm always here to help. And because there's a lot of options out there. I mean, I get overwhelmed sometimes and I get excited about eating all the things where I don't need to eat all the things and I don't need to pack all the things. So get out there, cook something amazing somewhere awesome, whether that's in a van, outside of a van, on a trail, wherever you're going outside. I want you to be able to eat well because I think it matters and I think it complements the experience of where we're going. But get out there. Boga boga. Test. Meal planning. All right. To the good stuff. 12 tips on ways you can make really, really great tasty options, and I'm just gonna keep talking for a while because this isn't what I want. Then it really goes to how much food you are packing. So you know your crew better than I do. Are they really hungry bears? Are they really snacky bears?